because we were playing in the creek. And I will post that later. And honestly, Midge sitting in a creek trying to eat all of the water out of it is the energy that we all need and deserve on this Monday. Okay. So today we're riverside again, so we can talk about Jonah, who famously was eaten by a fish or a whale, depending on your translation. And it's a very throat chakra centered story. Jonah was sent to tell some people some unpopular stuff, and he didn't want to do that. And so he ran away, and I feel very Jonah-esque. This is hard for me. It would be way easier in person, but that has its own challenges. And I want to be accessible to you, so you can do this at your own pace when you want to, when it's convenient for you. And it's more of a challenge for me to not get immediate in-person feedback. So thank you for showing up and helping me with my throat chakra work. Alright, so today we're going to begin in Hero's Pose. And again, as always, if any of this is uncomfortable for you at any time, feel free to choose a new position. I may join you in that. But for now, we'll start like this, kneeling, feet flat. And you may find that placing a block or a blanket or a midge under your butt helps with this, or between your calves helps with this position. And we're just going to rest our hands on our thighs. This is the most kneeling on my feet, with my feet extended like this, that I have done since I broke them. So I will guide you through this, but maybe not like that today. If you can find a comfortable place for Hero's Pose, we'll begin here. And let's begin our work of attunement, tuning in to our bodies, tuning into this moment, this space, helping this puppy tune in to being relaxed. I really thought she would be better because she was running all morning. No judgment on ourselves, no judgment on Midge. Good sit. Calm puppy. Nope. And begin to notice as you follow the natural rhythm of your breath. Begin to notice the external stimuli around you. For me, it's the feeling of this towel on my feet, the cool breeze on my face. As you breathe into all four sides of your torso, can you feel your skin pushing against the air? Knowing that there is enough space for you in your world, in your room, out of doors, but that also every moment you are supported by invisible molecules. And now, can you sense within? Begin to notice your breath. We're at a pivotal point between seasons. Can you make full use of your air apparatus? Can you breathe all the way out? Can you breathe all the way down? Noticing how you feel in this moment. Noticing, is there any congestion in your airway, in your throat, maybe in your sinuses? And as you turn that lamp of attunement and atonement, of oneness within, it's the Parks Department, can you begin to notice if you're holding any tension anywhere? Are there any parts that are lighting up for you or telling you that they're sore, stiff, tired, that they need to rest? Is there constriction? Is something asking to change? And if there is that merely physical? Ask yourself, is there something else tied to that? Is there another root cause? No judgment. If there is, as I commit murder, there are a lot of mosquitoes this week. If there is something tied to it, maybe just put a pin in it and set it aside to explore later. If there's something there, tell your brain, that's interesting. And make a promise to yourself to revisit that. And now, moving in your own time, as I come back to join you, on an inhale, let your hands fall, and on an inhale, turn your right thumb up toward the sky, and let your arm raise as far as is comfortable for you today. And wherever you find it in space, allow your shoulder blade to roll down your back body. Feeling here where there's tension, where the body wants release. And on your next exhale, slowly bring it back down to your side. Oh, that's interesting. My right leg is way farther forward than my left leg. I should probably do some hip opening work. On your next natural inhale, we're going to rinse and repeat. Turn your left thumb up to the sky and raise your arm as far as is comfortable for you. Letting go of that shoulder blade down the back body. Breathing into all four sides of your torso. And exhale to release. And as we rest, and again, if your comfort level doesn't allow you to be on your knees that long, I understand. You can come to sit cross-legged or in a figure four, or with your legs out long, or with your legs out wide, whatever is comfortable for you today. And as you rest here listening to the puppy bark frustratedly at the bubbles, can you find new length in your spine, new ease in your shoulders? Let's take a few breaths and just play with the movement of our head in space. Noticing any tension in the neck or in the front of the shoulders, across the collarbones. You may turn it side to side, finding comfort and ease. We're not pushing anything. We're not demanding. We're just exploring. And when you bring your head to your shoulder, making sure that you don't raise your shoulder to your ear. Let's keep those nice and level. This is going to be important in a minute. Again, it's fine if you can't touch. You don't have to do anything right now. And as we finish exploring that movement, if you feel any tension in your throat, in the sides of your neck, in all the areas where your neck meets your shoulders, your delts, your lats, your scalenes, which are particularly bad for me all the time. Make note of that. And if it feels good and comfortable for you today in this moment, go ahead and let your right ear drop to your right shoulder. As far as it is able, we're not pushing. If you find discomfort, stop. And then on an inhale, bring your right arm over your head and let your right hand rest against your left ear. Just resting. As you inhale with your chest high, lifting from your occipital bones, allowing your tailbone to sink down. It's like we're not doing much and yet we're doing so many things. Breathe into your hand. So on an inhale, you're breathing up into your hand through your ear, and on an exhale, allow just the weight of your arm to let go and hang against your head. One more breath. And exhale to release. Take a moment in neutral here and see how that feels. And on your next natural inhale, we'll rinse and repeat the other side. So left ear comes down to your shoulder. Inhale, arm over to rest on your ear. And notice what's different about this side. Staying long up through the torso. There goes the heron. Allowing that shoulder, your left shoulder, to drop away. And release on your next natural exhale. Return to center. And play around again. See, do those sides match? Have you loosened any congestion? Have you loosened any tension? Have you found new tension that needs addressing later? So, you can come down to your towel or mat now if you want. And let's do some work on all fours. So we'll come to tabletop for some cat-cows. after I make sure I'm not being eaten alive. So hips level and square unless you're on a hillside. And we're rooting through the fingertips, the heels of the hands, like a cup where little geckos suctioning down to the ground. Oh, that's the bug that was biting me. We're gonna inhale and breathe through, allowing our chest to come up through our shoulders, letting the eyes of the elbows rotate forward. And exhale, head comes in, spine rounds, eyes come back to center. Exhale forward. Excuse me, inhale. So really, we're letting the rotation of the shoulders do all the work. And then rounding like a beach ball. Pressing into the tops of the feet. And on your next exhale, press back, knees wide, feet together, and come down into child's pose. What can you let go? On your next inhale, palms come back to the earth. Oh no. Curl your toes. Exhale up, knees bent into downward facing dog. Letting your shoulders be wide. Downward facing Mitch. That's right. Good girl. That's right. Hips up, up, up. And pedal it out. Experimenting here with the back of the legs. Oi. Hopefully you tied your hair back so you can breathe. And then we're going to push through and come down and explore this worm. Now, I'm going to give you a choice here. You can come down to your belly and stay in crocodile, or you can put your hands, ground your hands, and push up into cobra. Either one, whatever feels good for you. We'll spend some time on the ground here. Grounding through your hips with either of these poses. See how much you can connect your frontal hip points to the ground. Letting your legs be long and heavy behind you. Still breathing into all four corners of the body, all four sides. Finding ease in the shoulders. And then if you've chosen Cobra, go ahead and come down to Crocodile. And we're going to do this in increments. As you exhale, tighten your core, right? So you're pushing all the air out and maintaining rigidity through your torso. So practice that for one breath. On your next natural exhale, go ahead and lift your legs just a little, just so they can hover on top of the grass. You're going to engage your quads, your hamstrings, your calves. Try that again. Lift and hold as though you're pushing a door with your toes. Hips and quads are attached to the earth, and release. And now on our next exhale, we're going to go full locust. So you'll raise your arms and your head and your legs. Just a little, your feet. So big inhale. Exhale and lift. Your eyes stay looking straight down at the ground. We're engaged through the core. Arms long, reaching behind you. Neck soft. Feet active. And release. Let's do one more because it's fun. Inhale. Tighten and lift. And release. Pushing back again. We're going to try this again. Into a downward facing dog. Inhale to push up. Curl your toes under and exhale. Reaching back, finding new length through the legs, knees bent. Pedal it out. And now we're going to take 3 steps to get to the top of our mat. Well, 4, I guess, if you want your feet together. And take your palms and place underneath your feet. If you can only get your fingertips, or if you can only grab your toes, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and forward fold like this. So those 3 steps, feeling that stretch, breathe into that stretch in the back of your hamstrings. Those 3 steps are how we approach prayer. It's like 3 words. I am ready. We're walking toward something. And release. And wiggle your toes, because you can. Trust me, you don't know what a beautiful gift that is. Inhale all the way up to Tadasana. Feet planted under your hips. We're going to ground into our heels, the base of our big toe, the base of our little toe, both feet. Hips nice and level. I know you can't see me. Just focus on Midge. What are so many people doing at the park on a Monday? Oi. When you're ready, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. And then bring them down to heart center and audibly exhale. Inhale, arms up. And this time, forward fold all the way down. Exhale, send the hips back, knees bent. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. In a big Y. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, down, hips back, knees bent, forward fold. And this time, we're going to place our hands down and step back. I don't know if I feel strong enough for this today, actually. All right, we're going to go ahead and step all the way back into plank and then come down to our bellies. And then inhale up to a seated position because I need to keep my eye on some things. Go ahead and sit cross-legged. And I know this is a bit unorthodox, but so is this many men at a park on a Monday in the middle of the afternoon. Shouldn't they be working? No judgment, but like, I wasn't expecting this kind of traffic. So, allow me to tell to you a story. And actually, if you want to, and if it's safe and comfortable for you to so do, let's come onto our backs now. Let's leave our knees bent. And we're going to go ahead and point one leg up at the sky. Let's do our right leg. And then twist and bring it over to rest on top of our left knee. So there was a dude sitting around. Doesn't tell us the before part. But at the beginning of the story, God says, go tell all these people that they're about to be destroyed. Let's take our right arm, slip it underneath our left leg, both of our hands actually, underneath our left knee, and just hold your left leg off the ground. Let your shoulders fall back to the earth. So dude, whose name is Jonah, says, that doesn't feel so good to me. I like laying here looking up at my tree. And exhale to release. Point that foot back up to the sky, and then bring it down, knees bent. So he runs away rather than do the hard thing, because who wants to be the doom scroller, right? Point your left foot up at the sky. Breathe, let that hip fall to the ground, both hips level, touching the earth, and then bring it over against your right knee. So he runs away and boards a ship full of other guys. And he's like, take me the opposite direction of this city. Take your left arm, thread it through, grab under your knee, and just hold off the ground a little ways. This side is way tighter for me in my knee, which I did not expect because I have a bad right knee. Letting those shoulders fall away, neck long and soft. Foot active. And the guys are like, that's cool, you paid for passage. So come along with us. Exhale and release. Foot to the sky and back down. Letting your hands come down to your sides. And let's just windshield wiper the legs a little bit. So the guys on the boat kind of wished that they had windshield wipers because a big storm came up. And they did a little witchcraft and decided that it was Jonah's fault, which it was. Because it turns out the universe isn't real happy when you deny your destiny. Return to center. So they woke Jonah up because inexplicably he's sleeping through this storm, right? And they're like, hey man, deal's off. You got to get off this ship because we're all going to drown. And we're not all willing to drown on account of you having beef with the Almighty. Go ahead and raise both feet. Wrap your 2 fingers around your toes. Ooh, my feet are popping already. And we're just gonna happy baby it. Rock side by side. Again, not forcing anything, just let your spine be long. Right here feels good to me today. So Jonah lets them throw him off the ship. And release. And he's out there in the water. You knew this was coming, didn't you? Come up to seated with your legs bent. He's out there in the water floating around. And there's waves. And he can't see because it's dark. I'm going to put our hands at our sides. I'm going to try not to roll down a hill today. On your next exhale, lift your feet slightly. Let's try that a little simpler. Arms up on your next inhale. Just as high as your knees, no higher, palms up. Back straight. Shoulder girdle open as insofar as it can be. And release. And what happens next? Jonah is eaten by a whale or a fish, which really happened to a scuba diver recently. Guy was out there diving around. Make sure you're seated on your sit bones, not on the fleshy part of your butt, not on your tailbone. Inhale, arms up. And in your own time, just lift one leg off the ground. Breathing. Breathing. One more breath. And release. So now he's in the dark mouth or belly of a fish or a whale. Poor dude recently, the diver, he had his suit on and everything, but he got swallowed and then he was held against the baleen. It was not a fun place to be. Inhale, arms up. And in your own time, raise the other foot. Just an inch or so off the ground, no big deal. Nice and long. Breathing. It's very difficult for me to do this with other people around. I'm nervous and I want to collapse in on myself, but we're going to remain out and open. And release. You know what's coming next. It's a full boat. Get ready. So Jonah's in there a while, and then the whale splits him out. And if you know the story, you know he got spit out right where God wanted him to be. Well, what's he supposed to do now? Inhale. Breathe, 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 breathe. Oh, Carolina Wrens. My boat is not strong today. But we can always try again. One more breath. And release. So what does this mean? There's more to the story. It turns out he wasn't such a doom scroller after all. Make your legs into a figure 4. One leg out long, the other foot up by your knee. And then go ahead and raise your right arm on an inhale. Fold your elbow, let it drop behind your back. Inhale and bring your other arm up to meet it. Fingers touching. How do I make this work? For a cow face pose. Breathing down the back body. And release. The people weren't mad about it. They were like, hey, thanks for telling us that we need to do something. And then, amazingly, they changed. You would think Jonah would be happy about this, right? He was asked to use his voice. He was scared to do it. He did the scary thing. And it turned out okay. Figure 4 with the other leg. Notice what's different on this side. Already in your hips, in your knees. On an inhale, left arm comes up. Elbow bent, behind the back. Right arm comes up to touch fingers. And release. Jonah goes and finds another tree to sit underneath. In fact, because he's going and sitting and pouting, but he did the scary thing. God builds him a tree. Palm tree right there to make shade. Jonah complains. So God says, all right, then no tree for you. Makes it hot. Tree dies. Withers. No shade. Jonah complains. Some people are never satisfied. Go ahead and get all the way down on your back. Constructive rest pose. And we'll wait for this truck to pass. So what's the point? We get so consumed with things that are eating us that we don't do the things that we really need to do. In the past 18 months, have you been consumed with other people's actions? Have you really rested? You know, when lockdown started, we all said we were going to do these wonderful, restful things. We were going to turn a new leaf. We were going to start a new chapter. We were going to take some time. Did we? Have we? Have we done enough of that? Are you able to rest in this moment? Or are you thinking about what comes next? Have you been consumed with news and media and opinions and social media? Have you been running away by doom scrolling or other means of escapism? Doom scrolling really just puts us back in the thick of it. What would it mean to rest? What does that look like? What does it sound like? What can you let go of today, tomorrow? One thing to make space for rest. What does it feel like in your body? Now take your hands and just rest them in the space beneath your skull with your thumbs on either side of your neck. And allow into your awareness the idea of using your voice, whatever that means to you. Maybe you're in a profession where you talk a lot. Maybe you like to sing. Maybe you used to act, and that's not really available to you now. Maybe you haven't been speaking as much or speaking to as many people, and you miss it. Or maybe there's something inside you yearning to get out that you don't know how to give voice to. The third chakra is also the seat of soul. What is in there yearning to be given voice? And using the power of our solar plexus that we worked with last time, Do you have the courage to speak that soul truth aloud? If only when you're alone. As always, you are more than welcome to spend as much time as you desire in this space. This time is for you. Remember that the things from which we run away are the things that will eventually consume us. Jonah's not the only whale metaphor. There's also the famous Moby Dick. What is your whale? Do you have the courage to name it? That's the first step. If you'd like to stay here, you're welcome to do so. If you're ready to finish your practice, go ahead and roll on your left side. And slowly push up to seated. There's like a lot of people here, and I'm not sure why. And we'll finish our practice today by saying one thing aloud in your own time with your own breath as something arises for you. Finish the sentence, I am.